Hi, I'm Diane Lickers, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He's an actor, producer, and of course, a fellow podcaster. No other than Mr. David
Pleasure to meet you,
Millstone.
man. Pleasure.
Welcome on Book
Thank
101
you.
Review, Mr. David. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
No, you pretty much got it in a nutshell. I've been an actor for quite a while now. I came in acting later in life after wanting to do it as a kid. I got the courage to do it later on. Did my MFA in my late 40s. Started doing theater. I was a full-time theater actor for a few years. Was a company member in a Shakespeare company, the American Shakespeare Center down in Stanton, Virginia. Then moved into film and TV, where I've done small roles on television and a few small roles. And I had done a few small roles in film until I pivoted a bit, became a producer as well, and began to make movies in which I could participate as an actor as well as a producer. And that's been very fruitful. I've really been enjoying it. And lately, a project that was outside of my usual bag of tricks is a podcast called Everyday Courage, separate words, every and day, that I've been hosting with my buddy Stephan Dweck. And our first season is about, um, interviews with people about how courage shows up in their daily lives in small and often unexpected and often unrecognized ways. And our premise of the show was that by looking at courage in ways big and small and unexpected, we might actually learn something about how to be courageous in really big moments that maybe otherwise we'd not think of ourselves as capable of living up to.
Mr. David Millstone, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the
I
world.
like the applause, man. I like it.
Yes, hoping for more and more empowering episodes of the podcast itself. So today let's talk about the quiet power of a small act. So tell us, you suggest that what is small and quiet can be immensely powerful. Can you unpack these paradox for us? And how can something seemingly insignificant create such a large ripple effect?
Yeah, it's a tough question, isn't it? Because I don't think that, little small quiet acts are actually very obviously contributing much to the world around us. It's really very difficult to see. We can tell ourselves that there's a butterfly effect to what we do. Um, so I don't want to claim that every little small act that we undertake is necessarily going to make the world a better place. But I will say this about it: it brings hope. A small act can keep alive hope when otherwise we may miss it. The current political situation, again, this gets back to the motive for our making our podcast, Everyday Courage. After the election of Donald Trump, I was terrified, didn't know how to respond, and I didn't feel like I had much power in the situation. And as the situation gets worse and worse, at least from my perspective, and we look to be staring down the barrels of a genuine authoritarian regime, what can we do? What can I do? And I, as an individual, don't really feel like I can do all that much. I'm not an attorney. I'm not the kind of person who enjoys protesting. I'll do it when I was out there for No Kings, but that's not my thing. So what I am doing by making this podcast is I am in a very small way speaking up from my little corner of the interwebs, saying, "Hey, there's something else here there's something else here that we believe in. There's we as this as this new reality overwhelms us all, maybe there's nothing I can really do that's obvious, but I can remind you that there are others who share your concerns. And that, at the very, very least, keeps up, I think, at least for me, it keeps up the hope that that things can change.
The thing can change for sure. And Mr. David, why do you think our culture is so obsessed with grand, loud gestures and often overlook the profound power of small, quiet ones?
That's a fantastic question. I think it has to do with our individualism. We are really trained to follow our dreams as individuals, to make our marks in the world, to get rich and powerful, and we somehow have kind of lost the habit of thinking of community. I'm speaking very generally. I apologize for that because I don't really know how to dig into that.
No worries.
Let me. So your podcast is about books, and you're looking for titles, and I'll give you something. I'll give you a couple things. One, Václav Havel. Are you familiar? Yeah, he wrote
No, go ahead.
a powerful essay called "The Power of the Powerless," and in that, he's really he's asking your question. Really, what can we do in our tiny little lives when very big things are happening to us? And his answer boils down to the best we can do is live in truth when we all around us are feeling these lies being propagated. In his context, it was communism in the old Czechoslovakia. Russia was really demanding obeisance from Czech culture, individual Czechs. If you're a Czech citizen, he gives it the parable of the green grocer. If you're a Czech citizen, if you say you owned a grocery store and you wanted to get along and not be hassled, you would put up a slogan, kind of a communist slogan, in your shop window, saying, say, Stalin is my man. I really like Stalin. And you'd put that in your window. All your neighbors would know that you did not believe that. Everybody would know that that was not how you really felt. But you did it in order to get along. And everybody else around you accepted your little act of acquiescence to the lie. Didn't really matter to them if you really believed it, as long as you were willing to pretend that you believed it. And that, I think Havel has something to say to us right now when we see ABC News fire Jimmy Kimmel. I don't think the hires up at ABC News are very happy about firing Jimmy Kimmel. I think they're probably appalled at their own actions. And I don't for one second believe that they believe that this is a good thing. But we see them metaphorically putting up the slogan in the shop window. So, Havel suggests that what we can do instead is just not put that sign up.
Mm-hmm. So what sign up are we gonna put then, Mr. David?
Well, what I'm doing is my sign is, my podcast, Everyday Courage. We did a season 1 where we talked to everyday people, just about their normal lives. We were not looking for big acts of heroism. However, we are planning a season 2. And in our season 2, we are going to focus our interviews specifically on people who are doing the kind of work that reminds us of who we want to be in this democracy. And fights against the sorry, this is, I hate big words like this, but the oppression we're beginning to feel. So, for instance, one guest I'm going to have is a man. Can't say who he is yet because I haven't asked him, but I know he'll do it. He is a real estate developer, and he's developing affordable housing in a city that really, really needs it, but has lacked it until now. He hasn't had a developer be willing to do the work to make it happen. And what's particularly special about his project is he's going to make sure that that housing is attractive housing, something that people really want to live in. And he's able to do this because he is looking to use very, very new construction techniques that were not available in previous generations. This is a project that responds directly to one of the root causes of our political catastrophe right now, lack of affordable housing. Another guest I'm going to have on is an attorney for the Southern Poverty Law Center. I think that sort of speaks for itself. Another guest will be a language instructor, a foreign language instructor, who does a lot of work on behalf of immigrants.
So, Mr. David, what will be your short-term and long-term goals as a podcast host?
As a podcast? Oh, okay. My short-term host goal is just to get better at this, is to find a way to get better and better at letting my interviewees' voices be heard without interfering too much with my own voice. That's my short-term goal. My long-term goal is to make my podcast a gathering place of a kind for people who want to find each other out. So to help encourage each other going forward as we look for ways to reclaim our democracy, our small d democracy and civic culture.
Good luck to your goals, Mr. David, and looking forward for more success. And what would be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be a podcast host like you?
Just do it. I had to, just do it and get some help. I had have a wonderful producer, Michelle Simone Miller, who hosts her own great podcast, Mentors on the Mic, for an audience of up-and-coming entertainment professionals, specifically actors, especially actors. She's really good at it. And I turned to her for help with all the small, technical issues and for some of the big storytelling structural, questions that didn't immediately come to my mind. And she's been a godsend. So number one, I say, see who else is out there to help you. And number two, even if you don't find that person to help you, just do it. It's cheap. You can get a microphone for $20 and get on Riverside and you're off and running.
Yes, indeed. And well, thank you for that advice. For those people out there who want to be a podcast host, please just do it. Stop procrastinating. If you have the passion to talk and talk and talk, please do share your knowledge to the world. So, Mr. David, can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Yeah, I have a bunch of them right over here. I was trying to figure out, what am I going to talk about? There's the fiction, there's the theater. Because we started off talking about the political dilemma, I will start with a book that may be familiar to some of your listeners, Autocracy, Inc. by Anne Applebaum. And this is a short book. She's a writer for among other places for the Atlantic Monthly, and in it she really analyzes what is happening with autocratic regimes across the globe. And I think one of her premises is that, one of her arguments rather, is that the world is no longer really divided ideologically between what we think of as left and right. It's more divided between nations that are trying to remain democracies and nations which are in which leadership is trying to put power into the hands of a few. And it doesn't. So, Iran, which is a theocracy, can be allied to China, which is nominally communist, allied to Russia, which is, I don't know what that is really anymore, to Chavez's Venezuela. All these countries have very little to do with each other ideologically, except that their ruling elites want to gather power to themselves. And this is an important dynamic for us to remember. Another book, this is a little different. Well, two books. One is The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk. And this is a somewhat popularized, it's a popular version. It's almost a self-help book, but it's a book about how the traumas that we experience in life really lodge themselves in our bodies in nonverbal ways, and explores how we can become better integrated with ourselves. It's a slight popularization, partly on the work of a psychoanalyst named Philip Bromberg. He wrote one of his collections of essays is called The Shadow of the Tsunami. And this is a work of relational psychoanalysis. And it's about, these are case studies in which he really explores how we all experience many diverse self states within our singular sense of self. And I have found that to be a really powerful way of looking at the self for my own growth.
Thank you for that.
Yeah,
yes. Okay. One more. Do you have more?
Yes, I do. Oh my God, I have so many. I have one more. I have so many.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. David.
We only have 30 minutes. Oh, no.
Go ahead, Mr. David.
Okay, great. Another one I have, and this is to my life as an actor. So someone's listening to this because I'm an actor. This is called Impro, and it's improvisation and the theater. And it's a book about how to improvise. Is by a man named Keith Johnstone. I don't think he's with us any longer. It's written decades ago. Impro really helped me as an actor. I've known some people it's really helped them in their personal lives as well. Where it helped me as an actor was to unfreeze my work. The guiding insight of this book is that in performance and in life, we can analyze relationships by status play. How we're all trying to seek status in vis-a-vis other people, in individuals or groups. We're always trying to one up each other. Ultimately, that's a limited way of looking at personal relationships, and I've sort of outgrown that in time. But as an acting tool, it's fantastic. It really, it makes you very alert on stage or on camera to how the moment is changing between you and another performer. You have to walk away from your fixed idea of a scene in order to get one up on the character across from you.
Well, Mr. David, thank you for those recommended books. And before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in 5th season, abstract poetry in 2nd season, my book 101 review in 5th season too, comedy 101 in 2nd season, my food 101 in 5th season as well, geography 101 in 4th season, my baby podcast law 101 and mental health 101, love letters in the 4th season, as well as my movie 101 review and music 101 and science 101 and sex 101 in each.
Amazing, dude. That's an amazing bunch of work, man.
Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. Thank you, Mr. David. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Daniel.
If you could challenge our audience to one small act for a quiet power this week, what would it be?
I'm going to put this in the negative. but it's good. But it's actually I think it takes a positive effort to do this. Don't respond to the bait from the other side that's out there on social media, say, or even in the news or from wherever. Myself included, I am so guilty of this. We all are responding emotionally, viscerally, immediately.
Social media.
Yeah, we're being triggered right and left, and it's often done intentionally to us. So I think one thing we can really do, if we have the wherewithal, is to take a breath, back up a second. I think we'll all be a little bit saner for it, and maybe we can hear each other better if we do that.
Yes. And let it go, people. Let it go.
A little bit.
It's better to let it go and forget. Yes.
Yeah.
And then go to something deeper that make your health, struggle more. Take a peace. Guarded your peace, people. Let it go, let it go, let it go. This is the piece of advice. So, Mr. David, what else you can say about your podcast before we say goodbye?
Well, I would say that the thing I really love about our first season of the podcast is that our guests are wonderful and they're varied, and they are authentic. And one thing we really try in this podcast to just keep our curiosity alive and to stoke our curiosity without getting snarky about it all.
Yes, indeed, and looking forward for the second season.
Thank you,
Mr. David, and looking forward for more success. And can you please invite our listeners to support your podcast itself?
Absolutely. You can find us. We're not asking for any money right now, so you can find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, wherever you listen to the podcast. Please, what would really help us is if you enjoy the show at all, just leave us a like and let us know what you liked about it, so that we can do better next time. And if we, speak to you about, we really touched you about, about courage in your own life, let us know that, please.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. David Millstone, because if you support him, for sure, more and more empowering episodes of the podcast itself.
And my podcast host, Stephan Dweck, is fantastic. You want to hear it.
Yes. So, Mr. David, thank you so much for your
Daniel.
time.
Much appreciated. Thank you, sir.
More to come, people. See you soon.